Stock review. Not to be confused with meme review, which in my opinion is a much better show than whatever the hell I'm trying to do here, but stock review is finance YouTube's favorite show. Each month, each finance YouTuber picks 3 stocks to talk about because everybody else is doing it and it's the only way to get good views. So without further ado, the first stock of stock review. Or do I clap after I say the stock? Or when do I clap? Man. I watch meme review every week too. This is not good. Anyway, first up is Tesla. Yes, the most hotly debated stock. So hotly debated, in fact, that I'm not even gonna bother to try and give you a fundamental view on this stock because you could turn around and throw it right back in my face. And you wouldn't necessarily be wrong because there's a pretty good bear and bull case to this stock. So instead, we're gonna go straight by the numbers, just like Elon, kind of. But definitely like my trading system, which is called the Nasdaq Allstars. So what the Allstars does is automatically rank every stock in the Nasdaq 100 by its momentum. And then once a month, it rotates you into the top 5 stocks on that list, so you're always in the highest momentum winners. I love it. It just takes me a few minutes every month to execute, and I don't have to worry about analyzing any fundamentals, figuring out position sizes, and it has amazing returns. But you know, I don't want to brag or anything. My point is that Tesla is very high on that list right now with a TSI ranking of 19, which is much higher than the number 2 spot, Workday, which has a TSI of only 15. And TSI stands for Trend Strength Indicator, which is how we rank momentum. The higher the TSI, the more momentum the thing has. Tesla has actually been pretty high on this list for a while, which is why my system told me to rotate into it back in November. And since then, I'm up 10% on the position. But don't worry, you're not missing out, because even after this 10% gain, you could see that the TSI at 19 is still really high, so there's still a lot of momentum in the thing. And actually, if you are feeling a little bit of FOMO on Tesla or any other trade, then check out this free guide I made about getting rid of FOMO in trading. It has 3 really quick and effective strategies that I use all the time to keep that FOMO away. Just hit the link in the description or the comments and put your email into the box so I know where to send the guide. Okay, now that I'm done with that wonderful plug, let's get back to Tesla. What I really like about Tesla right now is how it seems to be moving independently from the rest of the index. Since October 23rd, Tesla is up almost 40% while the Nasdaq is down almost 7%, which is a pretty huge difference. And normally when you're trading momentum, your positions move with the market, but at an accelerated pace, both to the upside and the downside. Though on the downside, you have stops and risk management, which is why over the long term, you end up way outperforming that index. And in a market like this with a momentum strategy, you pretty much expect to get chopped up, which as you can see by my returns recently has pretty much been the case, but not for Tesla. And that probably has to do with Tesla being so strongly fueled by sentiment more than any other stock, which comes from the God worship around Elon, which I fully support. And that's a big reason why in one of my old videos I said to never short Tesla. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll link to it above. But it's nice having Tesla in my portfolio right now because it's giving me some diversification against the broader market, which is rare to get in a stock. But okay, next stock. You know, it feels really good clapping like Felix, which, by the way, have you subscribed to PewDiePie yet? It's crucial that you do so to beat T-Series. I'm doing my part. Are you? Now this next stock, boy oh boy, do I have a history with these guys. And now, well, how the turntables. Okay, story time. So a few years ago, I entered a stock pitch competition put on by The Street and Jim Cramer about the worst stock in the world. And plot twist, I did a write-up on Workday. And even bigger plot twist, I won. And so Cramer, he gave me this amazing trophy. Look at this with that little bear. Rawr. You know, that's actually Cramer. He put on that bear suit to take that picture. First thing he said when he put that suit on was, "Oh man, I wish I had this much hair." Well, you know, that's not really how Cramer sounds, but whatever. It's just a wonderful, high quality trophy. It has some dust on it because I keep it under my bed. If you're wondering why I keep it under my bed, it's because there's something I gotta admit about this competition. And it's something so scandalous, it could ruin my entire career, but you guys seem trustworthy, so I'll tell you. Just come a little closer, just a little closer. Yeah, there we go. I need to tell you, I cheated. Yeah, it turns out the competition let you vote for yourself as many times as you wanted. So all I did was hit refresh on my browser a bunch of times and voted for myself. Now, don't get me wrong, that write-up was great and everything, and I definitely do think I should have won, which actually is probably why I voted for myself so many times. That's not cheating, that's believing in yourself. Yeah, so never mind, we're all good. But I know Kramer, he really cares about these things, especially after putting on the bear suit and everything, so I guess don't let him find out. I mean, we don't want him getting more stressed and losing more hair now, do we? But yes, today I am bullish on Workday, and that's okay because I'm allowed to change my mind because I'm fallible. You know how that works in the market. And I'm currently holding it in my portfolio because it is the second highest rated stock on the Nasdaq Allstars momentum list. I got in at the beginning of this month, and as you can see, it hasn't done much, only a 1% gain. But then again, in this crazy market, I'm not mad about it. And by the way, the reason I gotta black out the other names on this list is because we do have our own private fallible stock group, so I'm not trying to piss all those guys off by giving out the portfolio for free. But I gave you 2 out of the 5 holdings, right? That's pretty good. And I know you're probably thinking,
oh boy, another YouTuber who thinks he can trade has his own private group.
Well, that's what I think when I see this stuff. But no, this is legit, I promise. The Nasdaq Allstars was built with a group of hedge fund managers who have been doing this for 35 years, even before I was born. They started out on the floor in the 80s and eventually moved to Millennium, a hedge fund in New York, which is one of the biggest and most successful of all time. And it's funny because at one point they were even sharing an office with Ray Dalio. So this is a legit system that's used to run hundreds of millions of dollars. But anyway, if you're interested in learning more about that, just sign up for that FOMO guide I was talking about before. That way you're on the list and you'll get more information about it eventually. So Workday is a human capital management software as a service company. Basically, they sell HR software like Oracle that helps companies manage all their people. And I know it's shocking that HR departments even have software with how terrible they are at every single company. You would think they were doing everything by hand. On November 29th, Workday crushed earnings and is now up over 10% since then. Their third quarter revenue grew 34% year over year, which was larger than estimates of just 30%. So they beat expectations, and as a result, the stock rocketed. Now, I'm already in this stock because I follow my system, but if I was a discretionary trader, I would maybe wait for a breakout from the current consolidation that's formed after these earnings. Then I would look at getting in. Next stock. And actually, this isn't a stock, it's the bond ETF TLT. And I feel like I have to mention this because we're all so focused on stocks, but the market is becoming really rough. Investors are getting scared and they're piling into long-term bonds. And this type of scary volatility we've been seeing, that's not going away, that's gonna continue. So I think it's time for all of us to look outside of stocks as well. Now, I trade a few different systems for diversification. So one of my systems, which rotates from indices to bonds to cash, it had me entering TLT on November 21st. And since then, bonds jumped 3%. Now, all the indicators that system uses to measure where the market is going, they're all still very bearish. So we're likely gonna stay in TLT for a while. And the rally we're seeing these long-term bonds is part of the reason why the yield curve is inverting and why you've seen stories about that everywhere recently, which I actually explained how that works in a recent video, which if you haven't seen, again, I'll link to that one above. And pretty soon I'll be releasing a video with a macro update that's gonna tell you how the economy is, what's happening with the market, why bonds are rallying, what's gonna happen with this volatility. So if you're interested in seeing that, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell for an email notification when that video is released. We publish 3 videos a week, all market and business related. So subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Stay fallible out there. Bye.